It's a lot like marriage. It's all about compatibility. Now, most companies don't like joint ventures because you're sharing control. Both of them have to think about win-win.
The great Indian dream can come true for an MNC if the right partner is found and a partnership nurtured. One that prevents the foreign partner from being mindlessly global and the Indian partner from being helplessly local. This week on the show, we look at alliances that have delivered profits without heartache, and we'll see how easily things can sometimes fall apart.
It has taken us a long time, and we were frustrated for a while. But the truth of the matter is that the size of the market has not changed.
We have many partners in India. That's what I love about India, is that there are so many people with whom you can work. There are so many people from whom you can learn.
You have to make sure that your ego is not so big. I mean, because you've already decided that you're not going to do things standalone. You're going to do things with a partner, and therefore you have to build consensus.
Squeezing the best out of a partnership requires clarity of purpose and an honest assessment of who brings what to the table. A good partner can help an MNC navigate the intricacies of a difficult market like India, and if you are going it alone, then the India country manager assumes significance. Often made the fall guy on Conquering the Chaos today, we also look at the challenges of being a country manager in India.
Selling a sedan to a customer in Kerala is completely different from, selling another sedan or a SUV to a Punjabi customer.
In times of Dharma Sankat, you don't waver. You are steadfast, you are clear in your mind. I may not belong to this business, but I know where to take this business to.
Even as AirAsia's Tony Fernandes and Ratan Tata decide to take to the Indian skies together, what stands out is the foreign partner's need to have an Indian collaborator who can help them meet government norms and, more importantly, help them chart a course through bureaucratic chaos. But after the initial purpose of the joint venture is met, often relationships start to fray.
Now, most companies don't like joint ventures because you're sharing control. There are more failures than successes all over the world. But when they have worked, they've worked really spectacularly well. The number one thing is actually doing due diligence on whether the two companies are compatible. So you need to look at, hey, culturally and when it comes to ethics, business ethics, are we likely to coexist happily, or are we going to fall out?
And sometimes it's a case of partners turning competitors.
It was decided to go your own ways, where both companies, both partners can follow their own visions.
In 2011, the Hero Group and Honda parted ways after 26 years of what some would call a perfect marriage, with the Japanese partner wanting to go at the Indian market on its own terms.
When you run into problems, you need the thing that rescues it is good relationships between the two CEOs. If the two CEOs like each other, trust each other, then the teams below them will find a solution.
If there's one thing Super CEO Carlos Ghosn knows how to do, it's managing a joint venture. Globally, the Renault-Nissan story is the stuff of business school case studies. Dispatched to Tokyo in 1999 with orders from France's Renault to rescue its floundering Japanese business partner Nissan Motors, Ghosn moved boldly, returning Japan's second largest auto manufacturer to profitability within a year. Yet in India, Renault hasn't had quite the good run with joint ventures. The first and only car from their joint venture with the Mahindras, the Logan, hit speed breakers from the get-go. Disagreements on design, the level of localization in the manufacturing line, and then a fallout on pricing, forced a hike in excise duties slowed things down, and eventually the partnership pushed down on the brakes in 2009, only 2 years after they decided to take a drive together. Renault licensed the Logan to Mahindra and moved on, but not before picking up some important lessons on doing business in India.
We are here to respond to demand of consumers, first to understand the demand of the consumer, and I can tell you that in India there are so many new consumers coming to the market that you must make sure that you understand what they want.
We did learn, a little bit, a humble way, what are people after, knowing that, it's an evolving concept. And we also touched the supplier's point in terms of, what are the strengths of Indian industry, and not only because it's high cost efficient and we can export out of India what we are doing, but how we can very quickly localize and deliver a local product which is matching our quality and DNA standards.
And the Renault-Nissan alliance is still grappling with understanding the basics. Renault has finally tasted success with its value-for-money compact SUV, the Duster, giving former partner Mahindra a run for its money. Nissan is hoping that its even more value-for-money brand, the recently launched Datsun, priced under 4 lakh rupees, will turn its fortunes around in the small car market. Moreover, Renault-Nissan claim they haven't given up on the dream of an ultra-low-cost car which will be priced higher than the Nano but lower than the Datsun, a dream that estranged partner Bajaj Auto gave up on a few years back. Despite a shaky start and some would say a muddled middle, the group continues to bet on India. There is a commitment now from the headquarters to invest 4,500 crore rupees before early 2015 on a manufacturing plant and on rebranding and marketing initiatives.
India by 2020, all the gurus are saying that, will be in the top 3. India by itself deserves, the fact that a major brand, which is competing and visible in many markets, should give attention to India. India is also important because if you succeed in India, I'm not saying you can succeed everywhere, but it's a good learning in terms of, because of the complexity and the diversity of the markets.
In fact, Renault and its global JV partner Nissan plan to jointly manufacture automobile engines in India for Nissan's soon-to-be-launched Datsun low-cost car and then a smaller, cheaper vehicle that Renault plans to sell in emerging markets, starting with India. Carlos Ghosn tells us that new cars from both the Renault and Nissan stable will have nearly 100% of their parts supplied by Indian companies when they are introduced in the market next financial year. By doing this, Europe's third largest car company is attempting to skirt the midway trap. It's finally improvising, thinking local and investing in India. The Volvo-Eicher joint venture has invested over 1,300 crore rupees in India since it was formed in 2008. Just when the first wave of the financial crisis swept the world. Till 2015, the company plans to infuse another 1,200 crore rupees in setting up an engine manufacturing unit and a bus bodybuilding facility. Funds and expertise were exactly what homegrown Eicher Motors was looking for after spending 25 crore rupees in almost a decade to develop a heavy truck good enough to compete with market leaders Tata Motors and Ashok Leyland. We caught up with the CEO of Eicher Motors and the managing director of the Volvo Eicher JV, Siddharth Lal, and asked him what he thinks has made this joint venture a success.
Where they come from, everything gets extremely automated. So robotics, high automation, all that level, and that's the way they think. So, but we were able to ensure that we get exactly the same quality, if not better, than a European plant, but with a much lower capital structure, because our capital cost to labor cost is very different in India. So that's on the one hand where we've been, let's say, we've been able to pull Volvo away from their Swedish way. But on the other hand, the Indian instinct, and which Eicher was also guilty of to some extent, is to be quick about everything. So we see an opportunity in the market and we want to, even if our product is not 100% fully ready, we want to just, shove that product into place. But with Volvo around, it was very clear that if we miss the short-term opportunity, that's fine. But in the long term, we're going to win because the product which we put in is going to actually then create credibility of its own.
A measure of the success of the JV is that today Volvo, the world's second largest maker of heavy vehicles, is looking to induct Eicher as the 5th brand in its global portfolio. This means Eicher-branded vehicles will be sold across markets like South Africa, West Asia and Southeast Asia to start with.
Olaf Persson, who's the CEO of Volvo, talks about the fact that they think differently today about brands as a result of the experience in China and India. So in the past, the temptation was to put Volvo on everything. But nowadays they use Volvo at the premium end, Eicher or Nissan or SDLG in the medium end. So they are much more open-minded about using these brands globally.
And this, Siddharth believes, is easier to achieve in a foreign collaboration when leaders on both sides of the table have the ability to serve themselves a good helping of humble pie at least once in a while.
In a JV, the entire idea is that of cooperation, is that of making sure that we work closely together, is building consensus, and sometimes it's frustrating, sometimes it takes long, but we have to make sure that we keep at it, because at the end that's what makes the JV strong, because it's not one person or the other person, but it's jointly gaining knowledge as to why we are trying to accomplish certain things.
Rationality over personality and a lot of head, but some heart too, to make things work. On that note, we'll take a quick break, but on the other side, we'll take a look at the success stories of two joint ventures in the fast food space, McDonald's and Domino's. We also find out why global coffee chain Starbucks decided to go down the joint venture route in India with Tata Coffee.